At first, there wasn't much to do on the ARPANET beyond transferring data files among its members. But then, a new capability was added. The first killer application that would bring in the masses and take the usefulness of computer networking to a new level. That killer app was email.
I was actually working on a mail program, but it was programmed for a single computer so that you could send messages from yourself to another user on the same time-sharing computer. And I had written a couple of programs to transfer files, and it occurred to me that since the mailbox that I was sending these messages to was nothing more than a file, I could send that file across the network instead of keeping it within the same machine. And so I put two programs together, modified the code a little bit, and the first email program was created.
Tomlinson did more than just write the code for email. In a keystroke, he gave the world a new icon for the information age, the @ sign.
The @ sign was the most obvious choice because we're talking about a user who was at some computer. It just made sense.
Ironically, what would become one of the most popular applications on the internet was a program Tomlinson wrote on his own time.
It seemed like a neat idea. Nobody was clamoring for email. I mean, there was nobody. Our sponsor, Department of Defense, didn't say anything about wanting email. My boss didn't say anything about email. But in fact, nobody said anything about email because the term wasn't coined until several years later. But it just seemed like an interesting thing to do with a computer and a network, and so I just did it.
So then electronic mail became the completely unanticipated killer app, as we say, for the ARPANET. We went from remote login, file transfer, electronic mail in a year flat or 2 years flat, and then it stayed that way for 20 years.
Students, how are you? I think you are well. I am also well. Students, I will deal you a new question, email. HSC first paper, question 9. What is email? Email means electronic mail. Email, the very word, is an abbreviation or short form. Its elaboration or full form is electronic mail. It is the communication of textual messages via electronic means. Via, by the throw of fire. How to operate an email? In order to operate an email, you need a computer, a modem, and a telephone connection. Nowadays, an Android phone or a smartphone can function email successfully. You need to open an email account by completing some steps. You need to access internet to send and receive emails. An internet service provider provides you with the connection software on payment basis. Email software allows you to write, send, receive and read textual messages. This software allows you to send and receive images as well as video. What is its importance? What is the importance of email? Why do we write email? Email has brought about revolution in modern communication. Messages can be transmitted from one country to another within seconds. It is far cheaper than telephone calls. Trade and commerce has become greatly dependent on this speedy mode of communication. It has yet not reached everyone, especially in the developing countries like ours, as most people here cannot afford to have a personal computer. But even here people have started usually using commercially operated email for important purposes. Email saves the use of papers. Different organizations can preserve memories and reports electronically without using paper. As a result, it is able to increase officers' efficiency. Email permits communication between two persons or parties with the parties actually being present simultaneously. Privacy is ensured as email is delivered to an individual mailbox, which can be accessed or opened only by the intended recipient. Because of its cheap and speedy, it has attained popularity all over the world. Students, now how to write an email. How to write an email? To write an email, format of email. From who writes email, sender's name and his or her email address. For example, Z Asad 0567 @gmail.com. 2. For whom the email is written, receiver's name and his or her email address. For example, RS 0911@gmail.com. Students, we have to remember that the address of email would be in capital letter. Now send. Date and time of sending messages. For example, 28 August 2020 or August 20, 2020. Student, you can write date either this way or this way. You would not write like this. It is wrong one. Students, subject. To write subject of message in short. Students, if there is more than one recipient, there may be more than one recipients, then you can write receiver's name one after another. Subject of email, subject of the email message should be short. Students, now the salutation such as dear sir. If it is your boss, your sir, or someone like this, you can also write X Mr. Mrs. Mrs. etc. After salutation, you have to put a comma. Students, now the body, the main part of the email. Mind that your writing would be brief. Write in plain English. Don't lengthen your sentence unnecessarily. Just and precise writing will make your message meaningful. Now, subscription. Yours ever. You can write in other way, such as with regards, thanking you, your loving, etc. Yours ever, with regards, thanking you, your loving, etc. You would to put a comma here. Then you have to write sender's name. If you are sender, put your name here. Signature is not applicable, is not essential. Students, this format, it is a sender's copy. If a sender's copy, the recipient will receive the same email but a little changes. Note that if the sender does not add his name or email address, it is printed in the receiver's copy. Students, if you want to write an email to me, you can write this address, jdasad0567@gmail.com. This is my email address. You can communicate to me through this address. Okay, I am waiting for your email. Students, thank you for being